Hi, this is Katie. In today's video, I'm gonna do a little car update. If you watched my last video, you would know that my car broke down on the highway on Sunday. And I have been very stressed about it, and a lot of stuff happened over the next couple days. And so I just wanted to give you a little update on what happened, how my car is doing, and all that kind of stuff. So if you are interested, I really hope that you're subscribed, and I hope that you keep watching. Okay, so if you did not watch my last video, I'll have it linked right here, but I'm still gonna give you like a really mini version of the story about what happened. The last month or so, the battery light in my car has been going on sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes my battery light will be on. I went to one Jiffy Lube and two Toyotas, and they didn't know why the light was on. They checked the battery, they checked the alternator, they checked anything that could be connected to the battery, they checked my whole entire car, and none of them could figure out why the light was going on sometimes. And they told me to come back when it's like a consistent battery light, because then they'd be able to check it. Because every time I ended up going, of course the battery light wasn't on, and so it was harder for them to check what was going on, but they checked everything. They checked all the data in the system and just anything it could have been, and they didn't find anything. So they're like, well, if it ever is consistent, then come back. And it hasn't been yet, you know, it just still goes on sometimes, still doesn't sometimes, kind of no rhyme or reason. And so I've still been driving my car because it's been working fine, but I haven't really wanted to go very far just in case, but I've still been driving it and stuff, you know. So on this past Sunday, I was driving to the grocery store and the battery light was on, but again, not really alarming because it has been on and off the past month. And then while I was driving on the highway Sunday night in the rain, a bunch of other lights came on my dash. I know the brake light came on and like a couple other lights came on. And I was like, oh, that's not good. Like definitely something is wrong. So I was about to get off at the exit and my car stalled and the power steering went out and everything like that. And so luckily I was able to get off the exit and pull into a parking lot. And so I was fine. Everyone was fine. You know, like in terms of that scenario, it was okay. However, I was so angry and so anxious and so upset because I got my car checked out. I did everything that I could. All these mechanics said that they checked everything that they could. And you guys know I'm so attached to my car. Like I've lived in my car on and off. I've gone on so many road trips with her. She's the only car I've ever had. Like I'm really attached to my car. And so I don't love to be someone who lets my emotions overpower me and dictate my actions. However, I'm still a human. And there are some times where my emotions completely overpower me. And again, that does not always mean I'm gonna let them dictate my actions or my decisions. However, sometimes I get really emotional, like 100% I do sometimes. And this time I got so emotional. I was so upset, I was so angry, I was so stressed, I was so anxious. And this was, again, a Sunday night in the rain. And so I was like, well, I can call my roadside and they can come tow it, but where are they gonna tow it to? And I know that there probably would have been places they could have towed it to, but just for me, I would have felt better handling all of that during the day and bringing it to places that I know and trust, like Jiffy Lube and car dealerships. I know some people don't trust Jiffy Lube. They say not to go to dealerships because they jack up prices. I know that stuff, but it's my preference. I love Jiffy Lube. I've never had a problem. And I also really like going to the dealerships. So I wanted to deal with that during the day. And so I, you know, kind of thought quickly and I was like, okay, I'm going to leave my car in this parking lot overnight, which made me very, very nervous. If you watch that video from Tuesday, you would know my emotions were so strong. I was so scared. I was so upset. I was so confused. And so basically what I ended up doing was leaving my car in this random parking lot overnight. There were no signs or anything that made it seem like it wouldn't be safe there, but I was just still freaking out. And I left my car there overnight. My roommate came and picked me up, which I was so grateful that he was able to do that. And then my initial plan was to get it towed to Jiffy Lube because, again, we didn't know what was going on, if it was my battery, my alternator, or something else completely different. You know, sometimes when there's car trouble, it's like the most random thing, and we just didn't know yet. And so my initial thought was, I'm gonna get it towed to Jiffy Lube because if it is my battery, Jiffy Lube actually owes me a battery because I only got one a year ago and batteries are supposed to last a while, not only a year. So I was thinking maybe the battery is just like messed up somehow. Maybe they gave me a bad one or something. So I was like, I'm gonna go to Jiffy Lube first because if I need my battery changed, they would do it for free compared to somewhere else. So I'm like, I'll go there and then I'll have them check it out. And then if I need to go to Toyota or something after that, that's kind of what I was planning on doing. So anyway, now, okay, so then Monday morning came And I actually didn't need to get an Uber because one of my friends came and got me and brought me to my car, which was so nice of him. And so he came over at like 7:30, I think. And so we got to my car around 8, and then we sat there waiting for the tow truck, and he arrived, I don't know, 9-ish or so, I think. And right when I told him what happened, he's like, oh, it sounds like your alternator. And I'm like, okay, like, that's good to know his opinion on that, right? So then he towed my car to Jiffy Lube and we followed behind him. My friend and I followed right behind him. And basically, long story short, what Jiffy Lube said is that it was my alternator. He's like, it also could be your battery, and since it's under this warranty, guarantee, whatever, he's like, we will replace it for you. He's like, but it also is your alternator, and they don't change alternators at Jiffy Lube, or at least at this one they didn't. And so I did need to go somewhere else. And I asked him, I'm like, do you think that I can drive my car to Toyota? Do you think it'll be okay? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I think you'll be able to go those few miles. So I drove to Toyota and I was able to drive there, and I went in there and I was talking to the girl, and I was like, my car broke down. Like, I told the whole story. My car broke down on the highway. It stalled. My power steering was out, and that I was just at Jiffy Lube. They changed my battery, but he was pretty sure it's the alternator. I would love it if you guys could also check, get a second opinion, obviously, but also I just begged her, like, can you please, I was nice about it, but I was like, can you please just check my whole car just in case. Again, obviously it really seemed like it was the alternator, but also just there could have been something else random going on. I don't know. So I was like, can you just please check my whole car? So she was super nice. And so she told me that she would call me in about an hour and a half or 2 hours to let me know what they thought. And so my friend and I left, and we were driving around doing stuff. And then she called and she said it was my alternator. In my last video, a bunch of you said that you thought it was my alternator, which makes sense for the symptoms of what was going on, right? But it was just so weird because I got that checked 3 different times over last month, and everyone said it was fine. So I don't know if it was just something that was overlooked. I don't want to believe that they lied to me or anything like that. That's not how I see it. I just don't know if it was something overlooked or something that maybe it got worse over the last week or 2, and so that's why it ended up failing. I don't really exactly know what happened. However, it did end up being my alternator, and so I got a new one of those, which is very expensive, but at least that's what it was, and they figured it out and they were able to change it. But they did need to keep my car overnight because they didn't have the alternator in stock, so they had to get one. And so I had to go another night without my car. A lot of the times when I was on the road, when I was on road trips or living in my car, and I would have a battery issue or something like that, it didn't really stress me out very much, especially when I was living in my car on the road. For some reason, it just did not stress me out very much. I just was like, all right, I'm gonna get it done, no big deal. But there was something about this particular time that I just lost it. I was so stressed. I was so upset. I was so nervous that my car was just done. And like my emotions really did like overpower me this time. And so even just knowing that I had to leave my car again overnight at Toyota, and I knew it was safe there. It's Toyota. I knew it was fine. I still was just still so anxious. I just wanted my car back. Like, again, you know how attached I am to that car. So I really just wanted my car back, and I wanted her to be okay. So Tuesday morning, my car was ready, and so I Ubered to Toyota, picked up my car, and so now she's doing okay. And so I'm really grateful for that. So yeah, the story ended great. It was a very expensive thing that happened, but it ended up being okay. Like, I did handle everything. I'm not gonna say I handled it well, but I did handle it, and I'm grateful that my roommate was able to pick me up. I'm grateful that my other friend was able to like kind of drive me around a little bit on Monday. And yeah, now my car is okay, and she's back in my possession, and she's the love of my life, and she's doing okay right now. And I want to keep her for as long as I can. I don't really have a desire to just get a new car, you know, like I want to keep her as long as I can. And honestly, all the issues that she's had, like anything I've ever needed to get fixed, is just like pretty basic stuff that most people deal with when you have a car for a long time. You know, I've had my car for almost 13 years, and she has almost like 270,000 miles on her, I think, but most of it's highway miles. And so there's not like a ton of extra wear and tear on my car. But yeah, I'm keeping that car for as long as I possibly can. So yeah, I'm grateful that they were able to find the issue. And so again, I don't know if they just overlooked it, but that would be weird. I went to 3 different places. It would be so weird if they overlooked it. So I'm not really sure what happened, if they just didn't check it, or if they did miss it, or if it's just something that got worse with the alternator that they couldn't have seen in the first place. I don't know. I don't really understand what happened, but it was the alternator. But he also changed my battery anyway, just in case, which was really nice. But yeah, so now my car is back and she's doing great. And so I just kind of wanted to give you guys this little update video. Thank you for all your well wishes and all your prayers and stuff about what was going on. Because again, I know some people, this is not really a big deal for them, but I just was really anxious and I was really upset. And so I'm grateful that the situation now is like handled and everything is okay. So yeah, I just wanted to give you that little update that my car is back. new alternator, and new battery. And I think I'm gonna buy her a little present. I think I'm gonna like buy her a little present. And I need to reorganize her again because when it got towed, I had to take everything from my trunk and put it in my back seat because the tow truck guy needed to get the screwy thing to tow it out of my trunk. And so I took everything from my trunk, threw it in my back seat. So I need to reorganize my car. And I think I'm going to detail it, like really deep clean it and stuff. But also I kind of want to get her like a little present too, just for being a good girl and for, you know, she had to go to the car doctor and had to get some surgery, but she's doing okay. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this video. I just wanted to give you guys a little update about my car. But I hope that you're subscribed and let me know in the comments any videos that you want to see because I'm still gonna like not drive my car very far for the next week or two just to make sure that the battery light does not come back on. But then I am going to be back to traveling in the Northeast. So let me know any travel videos that you want to see or any other questions that you might have about traveling, road trips, anything like that. Or even just any questions about my car, you know, anything that you want to know, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And I guess that's going to be it. Thank you again. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. I love you. Jesus loves you. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.